Hi believers, this is Alex Kang, and today I'm going to continue on part 5 on the subject of speaking tongues, gift of tongues. Another reason why we should pray in tongues: as we develop the prayer language, you will be able to sing and praise in tongues. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, he says, I will pray with the spirit, and I will pray with the mind also. I will sing with the spirit, and I will sing with the mind also. And in another book on Ephesians chapter 5, verse 17, he says, Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Sing and make music in your heart to the Lord. So as you pray or you sing in tongues, you will be filled with the wine of the Spirit. Like for example, like a glass of water or a glass, you add water until it gets full, right? So it's the same as our spirit. We start drinking or we start worshiping in songs, spiritual songs in tongues, until we start getting full of the Spirit. Once you get full, you start getting like drunk in the Spirit. Another reason why we should pray in tongues: as you begin to pray in tongues, you will manifest or activate the other gifts of the Spirit in you. In the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 6, he says, Why I put you in remembrance, that you stir up or rekindle the gift of God which is in you by putting on my hands. So there are two ways the gift of the Spirit in you can be manifest or activated: by praying tongues or praying the Spirit, but also through laying on the hands, like the minister of the man of God. The more you pray in tongues, the more manifestation of the other gifts you will see, or will be activated in your life. And the less you pray also, the less manifestation you will see in your life. Now, Paul encouraged the saints in Corinthians. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 1, he encouraged them to desire spiritual gifts. He said, follow the way of love and eagerly desire spiritual gifts. And in the verse 12 it says, since you eager or desire to have spiritual gifts, try to excel in gifts that build up the church. So the gifts of the Spirit will be to edification of the church. So another benefit that we should pray in tongues, or another reason or benefit, is that you will be able to interpret through the gift of interpretation. In 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 4 and 5, Paul says, He who speaks in a tongue edifies himself, but he who prophesies edifies the church. I would like every one of you to speak in tongues, but I I rather have you prophesy. He who prophesies is greater than one who speaks in tongues, unless he interprets, so the church may be edified. So you may not have the gift of interpretation, but you can ask God. In the verse 13 on the same chapter, Paul says, "For this reason, anyone who speaks in a tongue should pray that he may interpret what he says." So, if you don't have the gift of interpretation, you may ask God to give you. You can pray for God to give the gift of interpretation as God leads you. Now, the gift of interpretation can be done for your own personal life, but also can be done for service, for ministry. In 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 2, it says, "For anyone who speaks in a tongue does not speak to man, but to God. Indeed, no one understands him. He utters mysteries with his spirit." So this word mysteries means divine secrets. But those mysteries can be revealed through the gift of interpretation. So those mysteries can be known. God can allow you to understand or to know what you are speaking in tongues. When you pray in tongues or when you speak in tongues, God can allow you to know what you are saying in tongues through the gift of interpretation. Some of the results by praying in tongues are: God may give you a revelation, a vision, dreams, activation the other gifts of the Spirit in your life, divine knowledge, also is a doorway to the supernatural. Also, it can bring physical and emotional healing. It can bring deliverance, protection, divine instruction, divine provision for our lives. It can bring spiritual growth, bring a lost person to salvation. That's through intercession. When God leads you through intercede, God can bring that person to salvation. In some cases, a person can be raised from the dead. I'm going to continue on the next part 6. God bless. God bless.